Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. Today I've got a very special series for you because we are studying a name that you probably don't know very well. Erik, in the top right side of this map, representing the Cranky Ducklings, one of the sickest names out of any pro team in all of StarCraft. Number 2 player in Brazil, it's Erik. He's facing off against 2019 world champion, 2016 runner-up, one of the best players in the world, the winner of DreamHack Masters Valencia last year, the guy who, just before I cast this, won the weekly cup just now, destroying Clem 3-1, and regularly wins a lot of tournaments, one of the best players in the world. But he has his work cut out for him because Erik, this is from last week's weekly cup, he pulled out a build, and already we've gone past the point. You're like, wait, what did he just do? He did an extractor trick. Let's rewind, actually. I don't even care about casting this like a normal game. We've got to go back. We've got to go back a little bit to show you this opening, because that's what this video is all about. So it's rewind 30 seconds. Check this out. He's built an extractor, built an extra drone, and then cancelled it to get above supply, 15 out of 14. And then Erik is now going to go 15 hatch. And I'm like, okay, that's really inefficient. What are you doing, Erik? And he's like, well, now I'm going to build another extractor to go over supply. So he builds it temporarily. The drone doesn't exist. Cancels it after starting the drone. And only now builds an overlord. So it's extractor trick, 15 hatch, extractor trick, build another drone, then an overlord. And only now is he going to go 15 spawning pool. This is the most bizarre build order I've ever seen. And I was casting this live last week and I was so confused, and it's been living rent-free in my head because he did something similar to me in the previous game. I knew he beat Dark the week before, but it was with a completely different build. He didn't use this build the week before, even though he had massive upset, he beat him there. And here he did this. 15 hatch, 15 pool. And I was like, what is this build? Why would you do this? Normally, the only reason you do this is to get a fast expansion so the Overlord sees it, thinks you're doing a macro build, and then you're secretly making 100 gas, ling speed, and you just do a ling flood. I call it the dumbass build. Some of you would be familiar with me calling it that. People get angry. They're like, oh, stop insulting builds you don't understand. No, I understand that build. This build here is not the dumbass build because the gas is way too late. I did not understand what was happening, but check this out, guys. Queen. At a minute 50, Dark spawning pool is going to finish about 12 seconds later, as is his hatchery with his normal 16 hatch. So look at that, guys. His Dark's queen start. Erik is 11 to 12 seconds ahead on those queens. Now, he might be down a drone from this slightly awkward start, right? He had a few less drones mining minerals earlier, but he's going to catch right up. Now, he might not... I'm looking at this and I'm like, you should be behind in overall resources, right? The thing is he? There's 100 minerals, obviously, that Dark's put into his gas. And the thing is, look at these injects. They're popping. You can saturate these bases so quickly. The injects are there. The queens haven't even popped out yet. By the time Dark gets his first inject going, they're just going to be popping so much later. So this is actually wild. Getting this out, it gives you so much faster injects. And I've got to start to question, is this actually less efficient or more efficient than a normal 16 hatch, 16 pool? And I don't know. I could go run some tests laboriously, but I'm kind of just putting this out there in the community because, number one, I'm too lazy to test it thoroughly unless you guys are excited and interested in that happening, in which case maybe I will go there and run some tests. But I'm curious, is this way worse or is this actually way better? Look at how early these injects are going down, straight into another 2 injects. And what's really fascinating is Erik does a really weird follow-up as well, which actually just meshes so well. He delays his third base a lot. So Dark's taking a third, going ling speed, going for a Bane Lingness, doing all these standard things. And he says, oh, you know, I'll do a light ling Bane pressure because this opening seems really wonky. I reckon I can maybe put some pressure on and force a bit of panic. But Erik's like, no, inject. Actually, he didn't inject his main that time, interestingly. And he sees the lings coming out, and immediately he's like, oh, I'll just wall off with Evos. So he's already up 8 workers in this game, and he's got 5 roaches building, and his own ling speed. Yes, it's delayed, but look at this, and he's like, oh, you're really committing? No worries, I'll build 2 more Evo chambers, plug the hole with the queen. There's just no way you're going to get through here. Erik cancels that, and mineral walks the drone to safety, and basically with nothing but a roach run in the wall, the 2 queens from the early game, no unnecessary expenditure. Erik is building a pack of roaches ling speed, and look at this follow-up to it as well. So not only, I really feel like this opening is what's got me fascinated, because it looks scary. If you see that, you might think there's a ling Bane all in if you notice the hatcheries early. Even if not, like, weird stuff can happen. Really weird stuff. Because you're just freaking out. You're not knowing what to expect. Now you see roaches coming as Dark, but he didn't expect this at all. He's like, oh, what? I thought you were attacking up on 2 base. I thought you had a lair on the way. He's going Carapace Ling Bane. Genius Erik here has figured out, hey, if you did a Ling Bane pressure, your roach deck's really late. You're probably going to rely on surrounding my roaches with Mass Ling. You know what hard counters Zerglings and Banelings? Having my own Banelings. So look at this. This is actually just genius. He's got a beautiful Roach Bane timing, hitting at 4 minutes 45 with 7 Roaches. He's got 6 Banelings morphing and a pack of Zerglings behind it. And you know what's even weirder? He's making Carapace. This is the part when I was watching this live and when he did something similar to me where my brain exploded in real time when I was casting this, because I was like, why would you make Carapace? It's not going to be ready for your push. But look at the beauty of this. He spreads versus the Banelings, drops an Evo Chamber at home to wall that off, and when Dark's distracted looking at home, look at this. Brings the Banelings down, cancels to let the Lings in. Dark's not looking, so he runs into the Banelings, loses every single one. Erik takes out the Spine Crawler and is just absolutely smashing. Oh my god. The Banelings get 3 drones on that left side. Sorry, bad observing there. He's still regrouping. Dark scrambling, trying to get back to his feet, trying to recover. There's only 4 roaches left, so he's like, yeah, I can take this out. Come on, man. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Now, he could morph a Ravager on one of these roaches to try to keep it alive, but since he's so outnumbered, looks like it's done. But is it? No, there's more roaches coming. Yes, his rally was delayed, but look at this, guys. His own Carapace upgrade, he was preparing for that not to be a kill move. It was a very committed timing attack, but he started Carapace. He built a round of drones, went to 4 gases and went for a 3rd. Now, obviously, he had to cancel the 3rd because the Zerglings went across. He's going to have to cancel it again here as Maulings come in. But Dark's emitting so many units to the other side, he can't defend at home at the same time. And look at this. He just says, hey, that's not enough Zerglings to beat the Roaches. I don't even need to detonate unless you come in with a massive Zerglings. 3rd hatchery gets cancelled. Once again, though, the Banelings are ready. And Erik also has a Carapace upgrade, so it's equal upgrades, but I've got Roach Tech. I'm up 6 workers. And Erik's whole build here is designed to never let his opponent take advantage of the faster 3rd. I think it's a little hard with his build order to spend all of that lava on drones if you're making an early gas and an early Zergling speed. You don't have enough money. Because he's going for it so fast, he needs all of his minerals going into drones and therefore staying 2 bases because he doesn't have Ling speed, he can't defend a 3rd, to make this pay off. But what it does is then he has this sick Roach Bane pressure where the opponent can't drone that 3rd base. It's basically just for production. His earlier injects pay off, and then he takes a very delayed 3rd behind these just layers of Roach Bane. It's like, here's Roach Bane, droning behind it. Here's Roach Bane, adding Carapace and droning behind it. And even behind this, he has Tunneling Claws, +1 range, and is like ready for the next wave. Now that's obviously meant to be Roach speed. That's a misclick. But nonetheless, I mean, this is just devastating. I love it. I love it. I don't know. Okay, we're going to actually look this up right now as we cast the rest of this game. Because I also can't wait to show you guys game 2 of this series as well and see what goes on. It's obviously at this point, Erik's basically got it in the bag. 2 base versus 2 base. A Roach Horn's only just starting now for Dark. Dark's so far behind. He's down in every single metric. And he's going to get further and further behind. All right, so sorry, I had to just very quickly look. I'm like, you know what? We've got to actually compare. What is Erik's world ranking compared to Dark's? It's got to be so much lower, right? Erik's world, and he's a great player, by the way. He's number 63 in the world. Number 63. Dark, I would guess at about rank 5. 6 right now in the world. Number 4 in South Korea. Yeah, and he's been higher than that plenty of times. And it's crazy. You are not meant to be beating him, especially not 2 weeks in a row yet. Right now, Erik is up 1 game and looking ready to finish it. Even without tunneling. Look, he's got Tunneling Claws, and I think he's going to realize now, right? He's like, oh, whoops, wrong upgrade. The spikes pop out of the Roach's back. You know you've clicked the wrong upgrade. Dark sees the army and is like, I'm dead. Just taps out. All right, so that last game was delectable. Let's watch Erik's build in the next one to see how he builds upon this disgustingness. So he builds a drone, and then he builds another drone, not an overlord. So, yep, just like the last game, it's drone, extractor, drone. Cancel the extractor, back to mining the minerals. And notice he's pairing up these workers really close on the patches. And so what's so cool is Dark, even if he sees this same opening, he's like, well, what even was that last build? That was the most bizarre thing ever. I guess just don't go for the Ling Bane pressure and then get your own Roach Tech up to be able to defend his pressures. Like, that's kind of the lessons from that last game. But Erik's conditioned him to think that. So Erik goes, once again, 15 hatch. He's going to extractor there. Where's the cancel? Oh, remember what I was talking about in the last game? The only reason you'd normally go 15 hatch is if you want to go 14 gas, 13 pool, or in this case, 14 gas, 14 pool. Why would you do that? Because you're doing the dumbass build. That's right, guys. Erik is following up the 15 hatch, 15 pool with the actual gas, early gas all-in version. But because he does the same looking opening without the gas, it looks identical to Dark. When Dark's Overlord comes in, even if it notices the creeps out early, Dark's gonna be like, oh, same build as last game, right? Just like a weird alternate opening. Like, and it's very difficult to read it. Now, to give you guys context, I'm not gonna cast their first series from the previous week before this one. And the reason is, Dark, his brain kind of broke. Erik did some really cool builds. Like he was doing like overpool, like build an spawning pool, then your overlords, like 15 spawning pool. And that's a Ragnarok opening where you do like a really early 6 or 8 Zergling pressure. But Dark, his brain was just breaking. So he's already knowing Erik's this weird player. And I feel like he's going to be so confused about like, what do I expect to come? Because one of the games in the first week as well, Erik, he lost the game, but he had Mutalisks out at the 4-minute mark, or 4-minute 30 or something. It was like the fastest layer into Muta build I've ever seen. It was insane. And even that was hard for Dark to deal with. So Dark sees this super early pair of Lings coming out. Now, normally this would be a huge mistake for Erik. And when I was first watching this, I was like, oh, that's a big mistake. He sees the Lings are out 10, 12 seconds earlier than his. Like, he knows you've gone super early hatchery and spawning pool. So you've just given away that you're doing the dumbass build. But then I was like, wait a second. But he saw this same opening last game. So Dark just thinks this is the exact same build as far as he knows. He needs to actually get in there, realize that there's no queen in the main, that there's Ling speed really fast, or that he's hiding Zerglings. And until he does that, Dark has no idea what's going on. So Dark's just like, yeah, whatever, making 2 queens. I'll bring them down to the front. We'll move out, take a 3rd base with this drone. I've got a 3rd queen on the way. It's all good, man. And he hasn't gone in with the Zerglings. So Dark's finally about to get his first scout. He's assuming this is all business as usual. And now he sees an empty mineral line and Lings popping out. And Dark immediately is like, oh god, let's watch from Dark's camera. Cancels the 3rd hatchery, drops the spine, queens to the ramp. He's doing everything right. If he pulls all of his drones and puts them on hold position on that ramp in front of the queens, they can buy a lot of time. He's not doing it. Oh no, you've got to do that. You've really got to do that. Also, because he already injected with his queens, they don't have transfuse available, which is a problem. He's injecting in the main. He's trying to build more Zerglings. That spine crawler is going to get cancelled. Hopefully he can rebuild that spine crawler. He can't come off his ramp though. Dark cannot go off the ramp or he'll get surrounded. There's way too many Zerglings. His own Lings are popping out without Ling speed. Oh no, his queen's getting surrounded. He needed to pull drones. If he pulled all of his drones from the main, he could have fought queens, drones, and Lings with Ling speed. His hatchery had so many hit points. You can see now he's pulling the drones, but way too late. We're swapping back to everyone's view, so I know they changed colors there. Dark is now red. Erik is blue, just because we were in the first-person view before. You see how it changes. But yeah, look at this. Erik's going to get the hatchery, and he's just got an onslaught now. Yeah, he's down 7 workers, but he's 2 base first one, and he's built a 2nd queen behind this as well. So he's got 2 lava injects going at a time. And I mean, this build, I call the dumbass build because even without seeing it coming, they can always defend it. If he pulled all of his drones, I do think he could. But I love that it's so shocking. And the surprise factor is why we see this build a lot, even at pro level. And even Dark freaked out and panicked here, specifically because Erik did this weird, he does these early spawning pool openings, and he hits timings at different moments than is normally possible. He essentially is just creating different openings that give different timings that where you're strong and weak. And veterans like Dark, who are, you know, he's very flexible. He's known for adapting to the chaos. Even he can have his brain break a little bit in the face of this onslaught. Trying to get Banelings up, desperately trying to defend his mineral line. The drones and the Zerglings trying to hold the queen. Slipping back there was awesome. Barely keeps the queen alive, but it does take a Baneling to do so. That queen is only on 16 hit points. She'll go down real easy. More and more Lings coming in for Erik right now. 19 drones versus 22, but more importantly, he's got 2 bases, and Dark cannot get another base up. That Baneling's going to finish. Oh, watch out for the Baneling! But they get the queen. Even though the Lings died to the Baneling, they get the queen. The Baneling, of course, can only fire once, and then it's dead. And it's still more drones coming in behind this. He's going for a Rotoron and an Evo chamber. And as you can see at this point, it is essentially game over. So rather than wasting all of your time, we can watch the rest of this on 2x speed. As you guys see, Dark struggling to even get an expansion up. Like, it's just an absolute disaster of a StarCraft game for him. But I want to hear all your thoughts in the comments. Is this a viable opening? I'm going to tell you guys, like I said, I'm not going to sit there and record exact mineral counts with build orders in an empty custom game for a week to record it. What I am going to do is I am going to play it on ladder. So all of my Zerg games for the next few days, I am going to be playing, other than Bronze to GM where I'm teaching more normal stuff, of course, I'm going to be basically playing 15 pool, 15 hatch, 15 pool. Getting the queens out really early, slowing down my third a little bit potentially, but just seeing, can I actually get an economic boost every game and just have like the fastest possible 2 bases filled with minerals? And then what can I do off the back of that in every matchup? And I think it'll work really, really well. I'm actually convinced it's way stronger than I ever gave it credit. I always thought of this as such a big handicap on the economy. And it is when you play it like Erik did in this game with the fast ling speed, because you can only afford 1 queen. But if you're happy to delay your ling speed and your gas, I actually think it's a fantastic opening. And I think it might even be more efficient in, say, Zerg versus Terran to do this, as opposed to, what do Zergs do? They always start their third base. They pull off gas. They start their third base. They don't start ling speed until like 3 minutes 20, 3:30 sometimes. Really late ling speeds. So it's one of those things where I'm like, wait a second, if that's the case, why are we even bothering getting the gas early? Why not get the hatchery up earlier, get the spawning pool, get the queens out, which means earlier injects, but then also earlier creep tumors coming out as well. I actually think this could totally work in Zerg vs Terran especially. So I'm really keen to try it out. Against Protoss with earlier depths, missing ling speed for longer is more of an issue, and that's the concern, right? Because this opening works best if you can delay gas, which means delaying ling speed. So I think ZVZ, if you're happy to wall off and stay 2 base a little bit longer as your defensive measure, ZVT, where it's just queens defending you and a few slow Zerglings at the start anyway, I think this might be amazing. So I'll report back. If I have a lot of fun with this, maybe I'll do a video, I don't know, commentating over or just playing like my favorite games I played with this. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comments. And I just wanted to share it with you because it's such an exciting thing to see someone changing openings. And I thought it was a dumb all-in. I dismissed it at first. I've rewatched these games a few times, and now I'm kind of like having some nice, exciting neural synapses firing, thinking about the options available. So let me know what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.